York City,
Right.
New York, New York.
Mr. Saif Siddiqui. A regular on MyComeUp, of course, and at the same time, someone has come up and inspired me loads along the way. It's ironic.
You inspired me, bro.
Man, I came here 2 years ago,
Yeah.
around this time. In fact, it was in September.
It was
2 years September.
Fashion
And
Week.
2 doors away, you had one of the most groundbreaking pop-ups with Jay-Z, which I remember
Kareem
seeing
Biggs.
you having to literally pull yourself together and literally survive on, because it was like a demand, stock, moving things. You know, some of your team wasn't used to that kind of high demand. You had to push through that, and now you're 2 doors away in an office. And it's humble because it's still a starting office, because this is not your UK base, this is New York.
This is my first abroad New York
so
office.
tell me about this transition. What's the...
So, obviously, I needed to expand. I needed to grow. Because I'm aiming to become a global brand.
Yeah.
And New York was a very easy choice for me in terms of where is the next ISHU office going to be.
Yeah.
The people, the fashion, the tech industry in America, from Silicon Valley and to whatever, it's quite far advanced. And New York was just such an organic thing for me to get to. And the fact that the store was 2 stories or 2 buildings down from where this office space was available. Matter of fact, it's like day 2 in this office.
Wow.
So and it might sound weird. We've seen the office in London. I'm more proud of this than I am of what I've done in London so far, because this is where it really sort of started from. America's really like helped me push the whole reasonable doubt, Jay-Z, Biggs thing that we did, and the amount of love and support that I get here. We did MyComeUp with on Wall Street, New York Stock Exchange. I got loads of press here, obviously. It's a very interesting market to tap into. And New York is just one of those places where it's all hustle, 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 go, go, go. It doesn't stop, which to me is really motivating. To wake up and have the opportunities and have the possibilities to just go downstairs from your hotel or your Airbnb and potentially meet someone that could change. Life can really change in a matter of 20 seconds in a place like New York. It's also the case in London. I think there's 9 million people in one city there. There's 9 million people in one city here. Whereas I think the main difference is New York is an island, so there's a lot of concentration of a lot of people in one place. Whereas in London, it's spread out. You get to choose where you want to be. If you want to be in Mayfair, or you want to be in Shoreditch, or you want to be in Camden, you want to be in wherever the hell. Like, London's huge in that sense. Whereas in New York, everything's 15, 20 minutes away from each other, and it's very doable in terms of Manhattan. You know what I mean? If we talk Brooklyn, obviously it's a different story. But most concentration of energies and best of the best are based out of here. And if I consider myself to be one of the best of the best at what I do, then I have to surround myself with people that are the best of the best at what they do, or what you do. You know what I mean? So I think New York is a great place for me to open our second office. Something that I'm really, really proud of. This little desk to me, it means the world, because it's always been a dream to do something like this. You know, to be able to put a team together, and I have great people. You met lots of these people during Fashion Week, all the events that we've been doing the last couple of this week, the last couple of days. So yeah, New York is a special place, man.
I think it's so interesting because you've got a brand, and obviously it's very distinctive in its style. And I think a lot of people, when they want to have fashion brands, they don't see the extra part. And I know you're the kind of person that's constantly pitching your brand both to the public and to people that invest and, you know, potentially see the bigger picture, because I think you and I know, I think a lot of millennials or entrepreneurs, or just startups in general, believe that the only way their business is going to grow is one way, and that's through sales. But because you've been able to, you know, make your brand bigger than, you know, just the clothing, is solar energy, is saving people, is, you know, doing a lot more. Tell me a bit about that dynamic of making it a profitable but scalable business, while not just depending on, you know, revenue of, you know, sales personally.
That's a really interesting, good question, by the way. I think you can base your results on a bunch of different things. Sales is one of them, right? Exposure or branding is another. Walking down the street and seeing people wear your clothes or your products is another. With MyComeUp, for example, you can have thousands of people on the platform, which builds up the brand. Not all thousands pay. So, but there are a majority of people that pay to see whether the actual business is organic enough and it does work.
Yeah.
So in my particular case, so how I can speak about it is I have a very niche market. It's a very small audience of who buys into my product. In terms of the paparazzi scarf and the invisibility cloak, obviously my target is the people that need it.
Yeah.
The celebrities in this case. These people have money, right? It's not like $500 is a lot of money for them, or 400 pounds or 300 pounds is a lot of money for them. For majority of the people, it is a lot of money, right? I needed to do sales, and I need to do sales to show as a proof of concept that the business works. And that's something that we're doing, customizing pieces for people, doing wallpaper for events, and making people go invisible in certain places. Making people go invisible is not just celebrities, it's also people that are privacy, security, safety conscious. So I get to work with a bunch of different people in the different areas. So it's not all fashion week and celebrities. There's also a lot of back end to it. In terms of making it a profitable business, I think the key is to... So how I started out was I managed after years to make one product.
Yeah.
Cost me a lot of money. I sold that one product and I was able to make two. I sold the two and I was able to make four. And I organically grew to the level where I could do a couple of thousand.
Yeah.
And that is all me without backing, and this is all my life savings. And reaching a stage at a certain age in your life where you're like, do I buy a house?
Yeah.
Do I get married? Do I have kids? Do I buy lease a car?
Yeah.
Or do I believe in myself so much that I'm willing to invest in myself, and whatever the universe and God has planned for me is what's going to work out?
Yeah.
And I really believe in my product, in my brand, in what I'm trying to do. So I will go out of my way to make that happen. With the business, obviously, another way of proving concept is investments. That is similar to sales or whatever. But all of a sudden, you have a responsibility. When you raise money, it's not just, oh my God, I've been given 10,000 pounds or five. It's not given, right? You need to turn that around because you're working with someone else's budget. And you need to be responsible in that case. It is a learning curve, and it is building the brand. How much do you invest into the brand and the PR side of things, and how much do you invest into the stock side of things? So it's like really you got to balance it out and sort of figure it out. And I think in my particular case, it's all been organic. I have, the amount of products is not just a scarf. We do the phone cases, we do toilet bags, we do backpacks, luggage, solar items, a bunch of lanterns, so many different things. But it's all about proving concept, because I can't say I need your investment and then I'm not able to deliver. So every single 3 months I need to show what I've done, right? And I need to provide our investors or our supporters, our shareholders, people that are involved, our customers. I'm really trying to, at a young startup stage.
And I think that's a good point you're making, because so many people don't understand the power of the concept being proven.
Yeah.
The concept doesn't have to be $1 billion concept, but if you're not willing to put the proof in the pudding first, to show that you can start, finish, and deliver a product to the audience space or the market space is one of the biggest assets a businessman can have.
Exactly.
Because I think when you look down at it, it's also a combination of being able to be innovative and actually being able to fight from the start to the end, like you said, before anyone comes in the picture. Because so many young people, message me about getting investment, or some people don't even see themselves as investable. Mm-hmm. But I think that's not the problem. I think the problem people have these days is that what entrepreneurs, should I say, is that they start from a place of thinking they need investment first.
Yeah, that's
without proving concept before.
Which is not true.
Which is false. Exactly.
Very, very untrue.
The market space it can be harder with investment if you haven't created the concept before.
Listen, I didn't need the office when I was just starting out. All I needed was a Starbucks, or a Pret, or a hotel lobby. Yeah. And I did that for 5 years. You see what I'm saying? And that's where I had all my meetings.
And even now, at this point, it's like you keep the cost low so you don't have to extend heavily. Hence the why you're not having a massive floor you know, all of the things. But I think what's very interesting about you, and this is one of the key things, especially when I first met you, is you're Dutch, you're from Amsterdam, right? And
Rotterdam.
you're pretty worldly in the sense that you do move. You know, you're going to LA in 2 days or tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
You're going to LA tomorrow. You've been in New York. You was in London last week. Probably come back to New York. I think one thing that I noticed with you is you have the ability to pull and draw the right people to you. Do you think that's an art, or do you think that's something in your brain you've managed to? Because you know, you to be fair, you're not from New York, but you have people in New York that are attracted to you, work with you. You have people in LA that attract and work with you. You have people in London, and the fact that you're not actually from any of them 4 states initially shows somewhat of an ability to attract, and these are people who become very much ingrained in your brand.
Yeah.
What do you think that is that makes? Do you think it's a skill? Do you learn that? Is that something inside of you? Or?
I think, well, I don't know whether in my particular case it's different because I've always traveled as a young child, so I don't know any better. Yeah. Right? When I grew up, I lived in India for 4 years. I lived in Istanbul for 2 years. Born and raised in Holland. I've been in London for 12 years. Been coming to New York for the last 3 years, and a bunch of other places, as you know, in between. So it's like I've always, to me, it's okay. This is it. I travel a lot, right? I travel weekly. But to a lot of people, traveling is a difficult task. Yeah. When in reality, it's like catching the train. Yeah. Jumping on the tube in London is not that hard. All you got to do is pull out your Oyster card and get through it. Whereas if you go to an airport, all you got to do is pull out your passport and get through it. Yeah. You can sleep on a plane. The flights these days, you know how people scroll on Instagram? Yeah. I don't do that. I scroll on Skyscanner. That's because you can find flights. I flew to New York for £200, which is a monthly in London for your oyster, so to speak. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm like, it's not like I'm spending ridiculous amounts on my flights, but to me, traveling is not a barrier. I can go from Holland to London. It's 35 minutes away from each other. So why can I not go there for a day or two, see my family, and come back?
But the relationship part, because you can travel to New York.
Sure.
You can stay in your hotel.
But you become a global person. Yeah. In the sense of it's very important to be a chameleon. Maybe a chameleon. You have to be able to adapt. Yeah. Right? I can adapt in whatever scenario I'm in, whether it's in New York amongst the hustlers, whether you're in LA amongst the Hollywood people, whether you're in China amongst people that don't even speak English, or in Japan, or all these different places. And at the end of the day, to me, people are people. Yeah. We have certain common things in everyone's lives that are standard, like, you know, respecting each other, saying thank you, sorry, all these little things, manners. If you apply that in your daily life, you're good. You know what I mean? And you know me, I'm constantly on the go. Yeah. I block out negativity every single day because I can't let that be part of my energy inside, like of who the person I am on the inside. Yeah. It's all about positivity and growing. Because someone once told me, imagine if you're a child, you're a blank canvas, right? So whatever you're told is part of your code. Mm-hmm. But imagine a child that only knows positive words, that doesn't use the words can't, that doesn't use the word doesn't or don't or no. If they are only made out of positive marks, then they will only project positivity, if you think about it in a coding sense. So to me, I feel like with me, I'm constantly on a high of positivity because I get so much confirmation, reaffirmation from a like on Facebook, an article coming out, a celebrity wearing a scarf, a sale made, a phone case walking down the street, or on the subway I see someone with a phone case. Or to me, that motivates me. So the more I work, the more I get motivated myself. You know what I mean? So I think in terms of the ability to work with so many different people in so many different places really comes down to who you are as a person. If you're comfortable with you, most people who are best at what they do are comfortable with themselves, which is why the working relationship becomes a lot easier. A lot of people have insecurities where, let's say you have a friend and you don't speak to them for a month. On the text, they'll be annoyed at you or angry at you. But a month later, when you're face to face, it's all forgotten and you're good. You know what I mean? So what was that negativity for? Just because there was no reason. Because people have that insecurity. Whereas people that do good and work hard, they don't care about the text. They care about when we're in front of each other. How are we? What's going on? You know what I mean? Sorry. No, so yeah, I think, again, I'm not special. I'm just a normal like Dutch kid. My dad's Indian. I live in London like every other Indian. Like, you know, there's nothing that exciting. I'm one in a billion people.
But I think it is also a matter of also being aware of where you are right now as well, and the fact that as much as, and I think this is the most interesting thing about people that have businesses, and it's easy to sit here and say, you know, everybody has a business, or there's many businesses out there, but in the real proximity of people, you know, I mean, you build alliances along the way when your business is at a certain point. But for example, we never knew each other when you was in the room sketching and designing and getting the prototype. I.e., I never knew you when I was in the closed door. So for most part, it's quite an isolating situation, right? Exactly. But I think the powerful thing, especially for what you said, is that when you follow through, you realize that people that have done that moment of isolation, they also attract to you as you start to come out, because they respect that. People that have the insecurity of not respecting that only deal with it based on where it is today and what else they see around them, and then start comparing it from there.
Sure.
I think even just for what you said, it's definitely special, because without you, this pattern wouldn't exist in the world.
Yeah.
Point blank, it just wouldn't exist. And I think that's what a lot of us we miss out on, because we sit there and think about all the other stuff, all the competitors, all the negative stuff.
It's easier to pick up on the negative things and really be hurt than the 1,000 good things that happen in the day.
Because it happens so. I mean, we get immune to the good stuff and highlight the bad. What is the plan now? Because you're in, you know, you've got all these things happening. You're in New York, Soho. I know you're flying out tomorrow. Where do you see the next year carrying things out? I mean, what do you have in mind?
I see a lot. I think next year I want to do a proper show here during Fashion Week. I want to introduce a bunch of new inventions throughout the winter. And throughout the summer of 2019, inventions sort of stepping away from the paparazzi story and really introducing the solar aspect of things, and you know, the clothing and the apparel, where we actually have a production house here in Brooklyn where I produce all of our clothes now. So we're made in New York, and the quality is all going to be top notch and on a whole other level, basically. Like something like the suit, for example, you know, it's got like just the fine details of quality and craftsmanship. So we're really taking it. We're going to Italy, we're going to New York for the production side of things of clothes. That's a big step. Launching of new inventions, a bunch of different events. I'm doing conferences in Dubai and Tokyo this year still. We have a pop-up in Cape Town at the end of the year. We're going to Cannes for a conference for something that I really wish I could share, but I can't yet. Because if I say too much, it won't happen. So I'd rather work on it, make it happen, and then we can talk about the aftermath. Yeah.
Wow, listen, bro. I'm always inspired when I'm around you and see what you're doing.
Thanks, man.
And I think you're very hard on yourself, because you know you put yourself. I don't think you understand how much you put yourself under the risk / front line of your business. You know, you are here. That's the reality. This is the only presence we have, and I think honestly you have to keep going. And you know,
appreciate it, man.
Coming to check up on you.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm part of the MyComeUp family now, so
sure. and
day one.
I want you to share what you're doing more just to the public, because I think you inspire a lot of people. When I'm around, you know, in London, when I'm around different places, everyone knows your brand. There isn't one person, to be fair, that's within the age range of that I know of, around 19 to like 27, that doesn't know about ISHU.
Yeah, it's
so
crazy.
It's something that, and I think it's a faceless brand. So to some extent, people don't know you're behind it, but at the end of the day,
a lot of people don't.
You know, it's a big brand, so I think you should definitely have to give yourself credit for that. And
thanks, man.
bro,
I really appreciate it.
Us today, man.
Always, man. I'm always here for you guys.
Bro,
keep working, man. Keep
trying.
hustling. We're always at it. We
What's
can't
up?
stop, man. We're just getting started. We're mad young.
Still youthful, still got the energy.
We've been blessed to be able to potentially do something, so we might as well use it, right? We've got one life. Why waste time? Like, for who?
But I definitely would say, one thing I would say ahead of it, apart from this, is definitely share your perspective more. Because I feel like we're on autopilot. People misunderstand that when we're sleeping on a laptop, thinking of how to improve. I've seen you, you know, like just not sleeping and thinking. I think because of that, we miss the idea that there's a younger generation or an early starting business person that just doesn't even know how to start. So the more we share and reveal that story with each other,
yeah, absolutely.
On Instagram, I know you do bits and pieces here and there, but definitely think you miss how much people, you know, look
Follow
up to
me
you.
on Instagram, please. I want to share my love for hustling and
Yeah, you
working
have to,
and grinding.
you have
Yeah,
to.
let's do it.
Brother,
Thanks, man.
safe flight to LA.
Thank you, brother. I'll see you in London next week.
For sure.